Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Heat predicted to take retooling package for Jimmy Butler. The Miami Heat are at a crossroads with Jimmy Butler. They've achieved a lot with Butler, but he'll be 35 and is due for a big extension. If they decide it's in their best interest to change things up, Bleacher Report's Zach Buckley outlined a trade that would give them options. Buckley outlined the following trade between the Heat and Golden State Warriors, which would give them a package of players in exchange for Butler. Buckley explained why the Heat would accept a package like that for Butler. If the Heat don't want to pay Butler, they'd presumably seek out a new co-star for Bam Adebayo or the ability to acquire one. This package falls under the latter, though if anyone could help Wiggins get back on track, it might be Heat coach Erik Spoelstra. And Miami has long needed more size and strength in the front court, which Looney would provide. Buckley added that the package they would get gives them options for what to do next. From there, it'd be up to the Heat whether they want to keep and develop Podziemski and Moody or use them as trade chips in Riley's next whale hunt. Either way, they'd have flexibility, which will arguably be tricky to come by should they commit themselves to a massive Butler extension instead. If the Heat agreed to this, it would be because they believe they've gotten the most out of Butler. Plus, they would agree to it because they couldn't get a better package. Trading Butler to the Warriors may be in the cards. If he becomes available, The Athletic's Anthony Slater reported that Golden State would enter discussions for Butler. If the Heat shop Jimmy Butler, I would expect the Warriors to enter the conversation to at least some degree, Slater reported on May 30th. Like the Heat, the Warriors have some aging players they must decide whether to keep. Klay Thompson will enter unrestricted free agency, and he is not much younger than Butler. Stephen Curry is 36 and will be 37 before the 2025 postseason starts. Acquiring Butler would signify that the Warriors are making one last push to win another title while they still have at least Curry. However, their interest could all be for naught if Butler's not going anywhere. On May 29, the Miami Herald's Anthony Chiang reported that Butler's preference is to stay with the Heat. Though he prefers to remain in Miami, Butler and his agent Bernie Lee have repeatedly made it clear, publicly and privately, that he wants to spend the rest of his NBA career with the Heat. But choosing not to offer Butler a max extension this offseason could derail those plans, especially with other teams seemingly willing to fulfill his request, Chiang wrote. He then summarized what contract Butler wants going forward. So essentially, Butler will ask the Heat to replace the 2 years and $101.2 million remaining on his contract, should he exercise the 2025-26 player option, with a 3-year commitment worth $161.7 million. If the Heat decide it's not worth it, suddenly trading with the Warriors comes into the equation. Heat insider on Bam Adebayo, he's not afraid of recruiting if that's what it takes. The Miami Herald's Anthony Chiang recently claimed that Bam Adebayo won't shy away from recruiting players to join the Miami Heat. Everybody loves Bam, Chiang said when talking about the relationships Adebayo has forged with players on opposing teams. He's probably one of the more popular all-stars when it comes to just Q rating around the NBA, right? Everybody just loves him. Kevin Durant, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, even Boston Celtics guys love Bam. So, it's just, yeah, he has Team USA this year. So, there'll be a chance for him to recruit there. I'll say this. Bam, he might not admit it publicly, but he's not afraid of recruiting if that's what it takes. Adebayo ignited Mitchell to Miami rumors earlier this month when he made a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, regarding the Cavaliers guard. As Chiang mentioned above, Adebayo is one of the 12 players who will have the distinct honor of representing the USA in the 2024 Olympics. Adebayo's terrific two-way play with the Heat during the 2023-24 regular season helped solidify his case for being part of Team USA. Adebayo averaged 19.3 points per game, the second highest scoring average of his NBA career, on an efficient 52.1% shooting from the field. On top of that, he dished out 3.9 assists per contest in his 7th season in the pros. The 26-year-old was one of the best offensive players at the center position for Miami, but he truly made his hay on the defensive side of the ball. Across 71 regular season games with the Heat, Adebayo averaged 1.1 steals and 0.9 blocks per contest. The big man earned a spot on the all-defensive first team for his dirty work on the less glamorous end of the floor and also finished third in the league's Defensive Player of the Year voting, behind only Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama. Miami's stint in the 2024 NBA playoffs was short-lived, considering the team lost to Tatum and the Celtics in 5 games in the first round, but fans of the Heat should have been happy with Adebayo's play from an individual perspective against Boston. Versus the Celtics, he averaged nearly a double-double of 22.6 points and 9.4 rebounds per game while also contributing 3.8 assists per contest. He dropped 20 points or more in every game of the series and finished with a series-high 25 points in Miami's Game 4 loss. Perhaps Adebayo's productive 2023-24 campaign with the Heat will be enough to convince some players around the NBA to join him in Miami and play alongside one of the better players in the league today. Warriors expected to pursue trade for Jimmy Butler if available, report. The Golden State Warriors are being floated as a potential trade suitor for Miami Heat star Jimmy Butler. There is one important caveat, as it is unclear if the Heat will listen to trade offers for the 6-time All-Star. According to The Athletic's Anthony Slater, the Warriors are likely to have an interest in Butler if the star becomes available. The same cannot be said for New Orleans Pelicans forward Brandon Ingram, who has also been the subject of NBA trade rumors. We discussed some of the Warriors' options on our off-season preview podcast, Slater detailed in a May 30, 2024 story titled, Klay Thompson's Market, Warriors Coaching Staff Changes and Other Free Agents to Watch. 2 quick situations of note. If Brandon Ingram hits the trade market, I would not expect the Warriors to show interest. If the Heat shop Jimmy Butler, I would expect the Warriors to enter the conversation to at least some degree, Slater wrote. Butler's future remains complicated, and Heat president Pat Riley appeared to throw gasoline on the fire when calling out the superstar after Miami was eliminated. Riley discussed everything from Butler's availability, contract extension, or lack thereof, and the star's trash talk despite being sidelined. Butler potentially still has 2 seasons remaining on a 3-year, $146.3 million contract. The superstar has a player option after the 2024-25 season. If exercised, this would allow Butler the ability to hit free agency in 2025. Butler has a sizable $48.7 million cap hit in 2024-25. The backdrop for this discussion is the uncertain future of Klay Thompson. If Thompson leaves in free agency, could Warriors get aggressive in trying to land a replacement star like Butler or another veteran? Slater reported that there is a realistic chance Thompson is playing elsewhere next season. The calendar flips to June this weekend. It's the final month of Klay Thompson's current contract with the Golden State Warriors, and there remains a realistic chance these are the fading days of his 13-year run with the organization, Slater noted. As the decision on his future nears, there's been no notable movement from either side toward a resolution, league sources said. The Warriors haven't exactly been beating down his door to work out the framework for an extension, which can be signed at any time. In turn, the 34-year-old Thompson appears ready to test free agency waters, exploring external options for the first time in his career. Butler averaged 20.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, 5 assists, and 1.3 steals per game while shooting 41.4% from long range this season. The biggest number when evaluating Butler is his availability, as the star played just 60 games in 2023-24. Butler has not played in 65 or more games in 5 straight seasons. The Athletic's Shams Charania reported that Butler's preference would be to remain in Miami for the foreseeable future. It could be up to Miami on how they want to handle Butler's future. If the door opens, the Warriors may attempt to form a new trio of Butler, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green. Jimmy Butler has always made it clear he wants to be in Miami long-term. It's going to be about will they be able to pay him what he wants, Charania said in a May 7 episode of Run It Back. And you fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.